So most of our episodes feature a guest who sits across from me and tells his story. We've got a guest tonight. Not really a guest. He's usually on the other side of the camera. We call him Tango. Tango sits with me tonight as we talk about what Burnham Project is. You're watching or listening to Burnham Podcast right now. But what is Burnham Project? Why is that the name of our social media? What does it mean? Where are we going? That's what we're talking about in this episode. Welcome to Burnham Podcast. I'm your host, Danny Burnham. So what I really wanted to do was to sit down and articulate Burnham Podcast from, I said Burnham Podcast. I'm making it worse. I wanted to explain Burnham Project.
Okay.
And exactly what that is. It is Burnham Podcast, but it is also so many other things.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
When this started out, it was just the podcast. And it was just audio. And then we went to video, and then that got us onto YouTube and Rumble, which opens up so many other doors, like what we've done with Destination Hometown, what we're currently doing with two different projects with more in the works. We've got Summer at the Ballpark.
Yep.
And we've got whatever this thing is going to be called with PJ. We've got to stick a name to
Grapple Quest. We still got 8 months.
Yeah.
To come up with a name.
This is the first project I ever worked on, including, I don't know how long we expected 277 to take. 277 is an indie film we made in like 2009, for those of you who don't know. 2007 maybe even. Long time back. We didn't know how long it was going to be. We knew PJ's grappling thing was going to take a year. That was the whole idea. But what we're doing is we're following, you might have seen PJ Broom. He was on 3 episodes before this one. It's called Grappling with Greatness. And he is one of my jiu-jitsu coaches at Scramble, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Wrestling. He's going to take on 10 different grappling arts in a single year.
And I think we're up to, 2 now?
We've done 2. We've done folk style wrestling and sumo. But it is April 12th. And April 29th, he's going to take on Greco-Roman and freestyle wrestling in the same day.
Holy Moses. Yeah, that is coming up.
In 2 weeks, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's coming up.
Yeah.
You just reminded me of that.
So we'll go from 1/5 of the way through to almost half in one day coming up soon.
That's a win. That's a win.
I still don't know if we've determined whether it's going to be episodic or if it's going to be like a feature, like a movie,
I'm not sure, because I lean toward making it a one big rollout.
Yeah.
We've done a couple of episodic things, and I think a big rollout would be something interesting for us to try and tackle. The bug's been bothering me.
It's driving me nuts. I think we could. I like the idea of a rollout, one big rollout. What do you call that? Is it a documentary film? I guess
just a documentary. Yeah.
Wouldn't call it I don't know. It's going to be epic. It is a saga.
It is a saga.
Grapple saga. I don't know if you got any ideas, especially if you know PJ. You got a name for this thing, shoot it at us.
Please put it in the comments or something.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see it. But that's exciting.
Yeah,
it's a different thing, I think, than either one of us have ever done.
It's super cool. It's super different. Because it's a new kind of project. It's like you're not able to kind of stage everything out. Like you're getting there the day of, and you're kind of shooting and rolling and like kind of working on the fly, and there's not really a whole lot of setup you get to do. You can't pull in all these lights and throw them on a mat and make everything look super pretty. So you got to make every shot count and make it look how you want it to, and that's going to be my fun of editing.
Well, even these tournaments, like they come in on a truck.
Yeah.
And they unload them like early Saturday morning, and then Saturday night they roll them up, and then they're off to the next town.
Yeah.
Or the stuff goes back into storage or whatever.
Gone.
Yeah. So, we don't get to go in 2 days ahead of time and test lights and audio.
No, we don't get none of that. There's no setting anything up. It's on the fly, on the go. You're in it. That's all you get. You get one shot. You don't get to do 2 takes. It's one take. That's all you got.
Yeah. So what kind of challenges does that present as an engineer and a producer?
It presents every sort of challenge to be prepared for. For me, I'm kind of rigging out the camera, making sure like I have the right lenses, I have the right settings beforehand, which we do arrive a good bit before PJ.
Try to get there an hour ahead of time, maybe. Yeah.
And that way we can run some test footage and kind of see what the lighting is going to be, see how it's going to be, and then kind of figure out where we want to be and how it's going to look.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And then, of course, we're working on getting mic'd up, and I'm looking and I'm like, oh, well, that looks really cool, but it's not important.
Right. Yeah. Does it matter to the story?
Yeah. There's so many things that are really cool that don't matter to the story at all. And I'm like, but these guys over here are grizzly bears and they're fighting it out.
Yeah. Well, and you and I both have a little bit of background in folk style wrestling.
A little bit.
I coached it for a few years. You were on the wrestling team in high school. So we've been to wrestling matches and tournaments where they put wrestling mats on the floor in a basketball gym. So you kind of knew what was going on there.
Yeah.
The sumo thing was wild.
Yeah.
I've never been to sumo before.
Yeah, that one looks wild from the camera.
Yeah.
Like, from what we got, it's absolutely, I'm like, what in the dark, dingy basement is this?
The first thing we opened this door. There's just a brick wall with a glass door. And it had the sign for the place out front. And they opened this door, and the first thing we do is walk down 20 steps. Maybe 25, 30. I don't know. It was a long way down. And then there are just boxing rings and grappling mats and punching bags. Like, this place was fantastic. It was a really
so
cool
it's
gym.
Fight Club.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. I was like, what is yeah. But that's essentially what it was. And they train all types of martial arts there. And this sumo club uses that space.
Holy
so
moly.
we went downstairs to like the main gym, and then we went through a back door out of the main gym into a less main gym that was still nicer than a lot of gyms I've ever been in. And then way in the back corner, there's this platform.
And that was your sumo platform.
Where they had sumo, yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah, it was wild. It was wild. Great place, nice people, but I had never seen, I didn't know anything about sumo. I know very little about Greco-Roman freestyle. We're going to beach wrestle at some point, not me, PJ.
Beach wrestling just sounds like it's going to hurt.
Yeah. There's no wrestling in beach wrestling, not on the ground. So like, it could be worse.
But you still hit the ground at some point. You're going down.
The sand
it's going to
is
hurt.
not soft.
It feels like sandpaper.
Yeah. But that's why we got a crash test dummy like PJ to, take those lumps
the best
for us.
at it. Maybe that's what it is. Life in a crash test dummy for a year.
Maybe. I always tell him that's what he does for a living. But so that's kind of the PJ thing, and we're making a story out of that.
We're working on that. And that story is developing.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun ongoing process, and I'm excited to see where we go with it, because what we have in the story of PJ is just kind of there, and it's perfect. It's this really cool story of this guy who just has this dog in him who wants to go after it and not stop, and it's just nonstop. Get it, no quit.
When he signs up for these things, there's no hesitation, right? He's like, I want to do these 10 different things
that I've never done in my life.
Yeah. He's freestyle wrestled once. He's done judo. I think he's done a judo class, and then he did a tournament one time. But there's like once he's been there once, and against people who've done it their whole lives. And then some of this other stuff, catch wrestling, beach wrestling, all these different things. Like, who knows? But he's game. He is a dog,
right?
So, but it's fun. It's a little different than what we've ever done before. We're also at the ballpark.
Yeah, we are. And that one was super fun. That one we just did last weekend.
Last Friday, yeah.
And it was stellar. It was extremely cold, but it was so fun.
Yeah, it did
so
get really cold. Early season baseball is always deceptively cold.
It was. It started off, it seemed like it was going to be a great night. And then, man, it got cold fast.
Sun went down, and so did the temperature. Yeah.
But the hype for the Emperors stayed up. The excitement for the games stayed there, and it helps that they were winning. I mean,
they played good baseball, and man, what a production!
It is.
They've got a major league production going on at a minor league baseball park.
They do. I mean, I feel like the Frosty Night kind of made it better because the Penguins, man, the Emperors.
What a debut for the new mascot, the Penguin.
The chilly days of Julius are setting in.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun. It was. I've done a bunch of sports. I was a journalist for a long time and covered them. I'd never covered a baseball game ever. And we did some baseball-ish stuff with Destination Hometown, but we're featuring the ballpark this year as its own series. So that's a little different too, but it's not. It's just barely about baseball.
It's more about the people of baseball and what's happening and all the things going on during the game, from the fans' experience of how receptive they are to the new mascot. And this is like the best time because you get a basic brand new team.
Yeah.
And this is everybody's first go round with the Emperors.
Yeah.
So it's not like we know what's going to happen.
Right. Yeah. Well, and for me, there are some specific aspects to, we've got a baseball team here locally in Rome, Georgia, where we're from. They've got a new mascot. It's our team. All the sponsors are names that we recognize. But for me, the idea is that this could be any number of ballparks across the country.
Right.
So it's a look at not just our local ballpark, but like the minor league baseball stadium as a whole. Like what goes on there.
Right. And
what are the stories of the people,
I don't think enough light is shined on the minor league, the AAA leagues, any of it, in any sport, really. I mean, even from hockey to baseball to soccer. I mean, we got Dalton FC, which is a minor league for Atlanta United up in Dalton.
I had no idea.
Who are just normal guys, just like the Emperors, who have to work day-to-day jobs.
Oh, wow.
But they're also professional soccer players.
Wow, I didn't know that.
This is wild.
Yeah. No, I didn't know we had that locally. I mean, that's semi-locally. That's cool.
It's wild. It's so fun.
But the minor league sports are where I cut my teeth as a journalist. That's where I broke into sports journalism in indoor football. Not the same as arena football. Pretty close, but some pretty big differences too. But it was something that nobody else was into and wanted to do. And they were like, hey, write us an article. I said, okay, cool. And then I ended up doing some college and pro sports and some other stuff. But you start in the minor leagues just like the players do.
Right. Man, I can't imagine. Dude, I wasn't old enough to enjoy the indoor football league we had.
It was wild. It was so you like hockey. It was a football game that took place in the same area as a hockey game. You think about it that way. So there were 8 guys on the field instead of 11.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah, so put 3 more guys on your hockey team and make them play football. And like that's kind of for
and give them all the juice they want.
Right? Yeah, it was like watching a football game in a bathtub.
Oh, that's great.
Like everybody seemed faster because the field was smaller. Everybody seemed bigger because the field was smaller. And it was just, it was fantastic. It's great stuff. But it was the minor league guys. And some of these guys, get their break and they go play in Canada or maybe NFL Europe. Some of them have gotten another shot in the NFL because they played minor league ball. But specifically to baseball, like that's the idea, to showcase, what minor league sports are. And
I mean, not to brag on our minor league team, but one of the greatest players in the league right now came from the Rome Braves, Mr. Ronald Acuna Jr.
His bobblehead night's coming up.
Yes, it is. I have his championship ring when he played for the Braves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's, but if we're in Rome, Georgia, and we've had Ronald Acuna and Jeff Francoeur and Brian McCann, all these guys come through. But man, if you're in, one of these other places that has a minor league club, like you've got those guys too.
Yeah.
And we kind of overlook them when they're playing single A ball, but then they go on to be this Hall of Fame baseball player. But I like I'm having a fun time so far telling this story.
Even after like the first episode, I'm feeling really good. I'm like, okay, this is a great idea.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a good one to roll with because it's that story of building up to be the big thing.
Right.
So that's exciting. And we got a fun thing coming with Mr. Rob West.
Yes. I'm super excited about this. We're calling it the Book of Rob is his idea. You've seen Rob here before. He's been on twice. I was on his podcast 2 days ago, as a matter of fact, the Cigar Store Idiots. We talked about all these doomsday preachers that thought the world was going to end when the eclipse, lots
I love them.
Yeah, good stuff. But so Rob became a believer in Jesus Christ just over a year ago, and he's got so many questions. So what he's going to do is ask all these questions to pastors of different denominations. So he's going to talk to a Methodist pastor and a Baptist pastor and a Presbyterian pastor, and he's going to ask them. He's got this list of questions that he wants to run down, just basic stuff that you don't know when you're a new believer. And there, it's kind of works on two levels. Like he wants all the answers to these questions for himself, but he also wants to demonstrate how far apart we are as churches. How far apart is a Methodist church from a Baptist church, or a Baptist from a Pentecostal, or a Pentecostal from a Presbyterian? Those two are really far. But that's that's the idea. He wants to get into that. We haven't found a snake handling church yet. And we're not sure they would let us in if we did.
I don't think they will.
If you know of one.
I'm not looking to get bit by a snake, is all I'm saying.
Back to a snake handling church. I want to do that again. That was a one-time experience.
It's a me-sized hole in the wall.
Right, yeah. Scary stuff. But so that's the idea as far as that project goes.
Yeah, that one's going to be a very interesting, fun one.
Yeah.
Lots of things to work out on it, but I think we're going to get there, and it's going to be really cool and kind of eye-opening to a lot of people to be able to see, these differences. Because sometimes you just lump them all in and say, oh, they're just Christians. Well,
right.
There's
maybe not
several flavors of Christian.
Yeah, no, there are.
And it goes deep.
Yeah, it does. But that's kind of the idea, and there are things that one church does differently from another that isn't necessarily wrong, right? It's just a different way to do it. But then there are things that churches do different that are wrong, and we shouldn't be doing them. So the idea is not to expose these churches, right? He's going to put all this information out there, and you get to decide, based on what you know about the Bible. Like, should we be doing this or that, or is it different to do these? Is it okay to do these two things differently?
Yeah, we're not going to play a gotcha moment and cut everything out of context. It's just going to be kind of how it's presented is how it's presented. There's we're not going to pull the rug out from under anybody and slam it. But
So any pastor out there that would be open to this idea, having these Rob in your church, you can bring a camera or two in, hit us up, let us know. We'll make it happen.
Absolutely.
But so this is some of the stuff that we're getting into, and this is where we separate. I think we started going that way and never really made the point. We separate Burnham Podcast from Burnham Project. The Burnham Podcast is just one of the things that we're doing.
It's one of the many little things that we're dabbling in, and it's kind of the main goal right now. And I feel that we're working on Burnham Podcast all the time, every week, week in, week out. And then we're kind of bouncing around these new projects and always rattling around new ideas and hey, what if we roll out something crazy? What if we do Destination Hometown? And that was an unbelievable journey. And I was kind of happy that we got to stay in our own hometown and do it, because,
was cool.
Man, what a way to start the series over of Destination Hometown and be able to break up the Peach Ride and Hometown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because now we get two totally different
projects
things
out of it. Yeah. So Destination Hometown is where, and you can find these on our Rumble or our YouTube. We decided to highlight all the reasons we could find for you to visit a particular town. In this instance, it's our hometown of Rome, Georgia. So we highlighted Rome over 8 episodes. This is all the cool stuff that Rome has to offer. So the idea is to keep that going and go to different towns and go, hey, this is why you should go to Hutchinson, Kansas, or Richwood, West Virginia, or any of those places. But make this an ongoing thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, that kind of, what I love about Destination Hometown is that kind of sparked some of these other projects that we're working on. That sparked the PJ project. That sparked our whole summer at the ballpark idea, because I think there are 2 episodes of Hometown of
2 of them were at the baseball stadium,
because we get one of the last games as the Rome Braves, and then the opening unveiling of the new Rome Emperors, and we got to be there during the transition, and it was such a moment to be able to capture that, because we're not going to see that again for a long time,
maybe ever.
No, we no. So that's why it was just like, we have to jump on this now. And the first season, of course, we have to do, and I know there's so many more grand ideas that we're rattling around, that we're gonna get to in the next couple of years.
We'll get there. We're laying some infrastructure right now, putting down some groundwork, kind of staying local as far as a lot of these projects go. We're traveling some with PJ's thing, but it's just, maybe next summer we're looking at the Rocket City Trash Pandas, or the Portland Sea Dogs, or one of these other places. But we don't want to just stay local. We could, that'd be cool. But as far as your ideas aren't big unless they scare you a little bit, right?
Like, I'm all for hitting the Quad City. Quad City River Bandits.
Yeah, Quad City River Bandits.
Baseball stadium.
Who is the Sod Poodles? They're somewhere out west, Arizona, somewhere maybe.
You got the El Paso Chihuahuas.
Yeah, the Rocket City Trash. That's Rocket City Trash Pandas. Yeah, Chattanooga Lookouts has always been cool.
Oh yeah, they're right up there. That may be where we end up next.
Mm-hmm. But just to highlight that ballpark, and that's America, right? Of baseball is America's pastime,
right? It is. It's a sport that everybody loves, and it's recognized worldwide. Like, people just love baseball.
They do. I've never been I don't watch baseball on TV, but if I can go to a game and watch the hot dog race, and
it makes it so much better.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. You can go and kind of partake in the atmosphere.
You do, and I think that's part of it, is like, watching it on TV, you miss the atmosphere, and they don't really show it.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what we're highlighting, is that atmosphere, and
why
it's so fun to get out, get off your couch, go enjoy what's around you, go adventure, go do the thing, go see those minor leagues, go support them, because they're putting on 5-star performances every night, day in and day out. It's not just a special night. Like, it doesn't matter if there's 10 fans or 10,000 fans. They're putting on the same show.
Well, it's the same effort, and they're not bad. They're professional baseball players.
Yeah,
they're still hitting home runs, and they're not dropping fly balls. And it's not like watching a Pee Wee game.
No, it's not. Like, Pee Wee game atmosphere is totally different. I don't want to ever do that. I don't want to film that. That's not. No,
it's on the field. It's off the field. Our buddy Justin Franklin, man, those guys are hustling with the marketing and the media relations, and you've got your stadium atmosphere people. I forget what they're called, but they're the ones that make sure you've got 2 contestants for all these games that happen in between the innings. And, but it's a great atmosphere, and you do miss it on TV, but you can see it at your local ballpark for not much money.
Not much at all. They run plenty of buy one, get one nights.
Yeah. Oh, what are there, 32 Major League Baseball teams? And you have to live near a big city to go see them. But, these places are in, little bitty towns.
There's sometimes 3 or 4 in a state.
Yeah, we've got at least 3.
Yeah.
If you count the Making Bacon, we got 4, I think.
Oh, yeah. And then
independent minor leagues, but,
Well, and then we got them folks down in Savannah that aren't real baseball.
Making a mockery of the sport. What a circus, though. That's their own. They're the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball.
They are. But I know what we got: the Stripers, the Emperors, the Bacon, and who else?
Oh man, there was a South Georgia Peaches for a while.
Oh, the Augusta Green Jackets.
The Augusta Green Jackets, who are technically in their stadium is in South Carolina.
Yeah, but they're Augusta.
Named for Augusta, Georgia. But it's the distance of across a river is North Georgia to South Carolina there. So whatever.
I know.
Yeah.
We got
still
the
ours.
name.
Yeah, they're still ours. But yeah, I'd forgotten about the Green Jackets. I've been to a bunch of their games over the years.
That's like 5.
Yeah, we got a bunch of them.
And then the Globetrotters.
Yeah, whatever that is. God bless them. But yeah, these are just some of the things we're doing. We mentioned Destination Hometown. We've got to get to work on that.
Yeah, we're coming up on getting ready for season 2.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And the Georgia Peach Ride is going to be a little more of a marathon this year than maybe more of a sprint than a marathon, I guess. It's like a one-day thing as opposed to the grind, and we'll do the grind on the Destination Hometown. But lots of fun stuff.
Lots of fun stuff coming up.
We got some ideas about where we're going to go. We'll be putting those out pretty soon. I got a new idea the other day that we'll talk about off air. But lots of cool stuff. But all of this stuff is Burnham Project. It's the podcast. It's the Summer at the Ballpark. It's the Grapple Quest thing. It's Destination Hometown. It's Georgia Peach Ride. It's maybe some movie that we're going to make next year or after.
Yep.
Lots of fun stuff.
Lots of cool things.
But the idea, the overarching idea here is to tell the story of people, and as often as we can relate it to our faith in Jesus Christ, like we try to do that also. Because we're not just supposed to be, we're not of the world, but we're still in the world.
We're part of it.
Yeah,
so
and we're still going to ball games, and we're still practicing martial arts, and we're still
choking each other.
We still choke each other. But there's, stuff that we do day to day that we're trying to highlight. And exciting stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Telling people stories. And it's, who knows where it's going to go. Some sponsorship would be fantastic. But we're working on that too. We've got some ideas in the pipe for some partnerships to boost the budget a little and
sail away with some projects.
Sail away. I mean, right there, there's got to be a documentary film in sailing somewhere.
Dude, that's a whole idea after the podcast.
Yeah, right. What if we go out on the ocean with no experience at all on a sailboat? Never mind.
I was going to say build our own boat and sail.
Ooh, that's even better. Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that off air. Where are we at on time here? How are we 30 minutes-ish?
Oh, no.
You can't see it from here, can you?
I'm not behind the camera today.
I got you. Well, I don't feel like we need an entire hour. I just feel like we needed to sit down and hash out the difference because there's been confusion lately. People are like, so is it Burnham Podcast or Burnham Project? And I'm
both.
Like, yes, it is. So it's both of those things. And it's more than that. If you go onto our Rumble, it's split up. You got different channels on Rumble. Maybe YouTube is too. Somebody that's smarter than me would know that. But Rumble's split up in different channels. So there's a Burnham Podcast channel and a Destination Hometown channel. And then there's going to be a Summer at the Ballpark channel. So you can go in there and not have to sort through all the different videos to find what it is you're looking for. Rumble's great, man. I love that. I love their format. It's fantastic.
I love them too.
Not just because they're way cooler than the YouTube people, but like their format's just better. I like it.
They're getting up there and they're getting real good at it real quick, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, I'm fired up about where that's going. But I think this is a good place to jump off. I think
absolutely
we've gotten our point across. There's no need to beat this dead horse, which might be another film down the road. We're not going to beat a dead horse. That's it. We're done. Thanks for sitting down with me tonight and being on this side of the camera. I've enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
We'll do it again. God bless you guys. We love you. See you next time. These cups out here all the time. This episode brought to you by Ball Cans and Jars. What is this? I don't know the name of their company anymore. The Ball Corporation. They make these awesome stainless cups. They've made the ball mason jar for 100,000 years now. Anyway, so yeah, there's that. Let's see. Wibbity blibbity doo. Doo 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 doo. You know how hard it is for me to record with you dying in the hallway?